Hello everyone. This is the companion video to my last video and my latest video, which was about a jaunt or a trip I took with my friend into the Peak District in the area surrounding Glossop, in and around a place called Crowden. Let's have a look at some vocabulary, idioms and grammar. All right, on to the first slide. Just quickly to set the scene, it was an exploration of the Longdendale Trail and Woodhead Station. There were reservoirs, decommissioned railways, and lots of Pennine Hills. I did use a mix of descriptive, reflective, and informal narrative styles, so essentially what it boiled down to, i.e. the essence of it, was that I managed to produce a 13-minute video from a 16-mile walk. Yes, I did walk 16 miles. So we start with powerful adjectives to upgrade your English. Number one, well, I think we've had this one before, but I do use it again, particularly in the first minute of the video, describing the sheep and their walk. So they were walking or moving at a slow, relaxed pace. Ambling, walking or moving at a slow, relaxed pace. Number two is desolate. Desolate. What does it mean? Often used to describe a landscape. It means that there are no people and no signs of life, essentially, deserted of people in a state of bleak emptiness. A great word to use. You should add it to your vocabulary. Spectacular, I'm going to skip. That's fairly well used and well known. So the last one, I think it might also be a repeat, but it is hazardous, referring to the walk I was taking. Sometimes I was filming and walking and having to pick my way through tough terrain, which was risky, a little bit dangerous. Not very dangerous, of course, but certainly a little hazardous. So I did use a few idioms that just came up naturally, of course, because I do not plan these. They just come into my head as I'm describing what I'm seeing. So these are idioms, and then maybe one or two phrasal verbs and general expressions following. Number one, off the beaten track. I might use this sometimes to describe what I do, because I do like to go off the beaten track, meaning I don't stay in the normal touristy trail area that a lot of people tend to use. I do go off the beaten track into an isolated place where few people go. That's the idea and that's the appeal. Now, this second idiom I do enjoy and I promise you, I use quite often. I say, I would give my right arm to live in that house. Now, this is not literal, it is an idiom, so it's figurative. I would not give my right arm, just to be clear. But it is an idiom meaning I'd be willing to give something very valuable in order to secure something else. For example, to get that house, to be the owner of that house, I would give my right arm. Next was doom and gloom. So 10 minutes ago, it was all doom and gloom was a sentence I used when describing the weather. And I contrasted it with how sunny it was suddenly. So doom and gloom is a feeling of pessimism and despondency. These are all excellent words. But it's generally describing a mood which is pessimistic as opposed to optimistic. despondent as well from another form. And finally, follow to the letter. So it is particularly to follow instructions or a path exactly. To follow instructions exactly is follow to the letter. This is the most common usage. Follow my instructions to the letter. This is very common. It's a known, famous collocation, and you can try to use that as often as you can, really. So there's the idioms. Oh, let's go back here. We have the first one here might be slightly idiomatic, which is on edge. I described myself as being on edge at some point during the video. What does it mean? It means I'm describing myself as being tense, nervous, or irritable. Irritable. On edge generally is more than tense and nervous. Irritable, all of them together go well to describe the feeling of being on edge. Check out, very informal and a very well-known phrasal verb to look at or examine something. So I think I'm often going to ask you to check out this or check out that. The next one is just a lexical collocation, really, and particularly with reference to the sun. The sun is beaming down. However, it can be used in another context. For example, if someone is smiling down on you. A smile, a large and emphatic smile, can often be referenced as a beam. So if someone is smiling at you, you can say they are beaming at you or beaming down at you. And then the last one here is just me being silly, talking about the fact that I'm bald. So my head was naked. It didn't have any hair, it didn't have a hat, there was nothing on it. Just self-deprecating, really. Okay, so collocations, lexical collocations here. We talk about stunning scenery. Stunning and the word scenery are often collocated in this way. Genuinely lost. Power was drained. This was from another video. But from the latest video, I did say or refer to a decommissioned railway. Decommissioned is strongly collocated with a number of other things. For example, a group or investigative body might be decommissioned, and there are other examples too. Look into collocations, it's so helpful. So a bit of slang here. If I use slang, I will explain it to the best of my ability, but it's great for native language. Some is not appropriate, but most of it, I beg your pardon, is, and you can use it as and when to sound more native. For example, number one, mooching. I do say this in the last two videos, referencing wandering around slowly without much purpose. So this is a direct synonym for the word ambling. What have you? This is a review and other similar things, so you're referencing something at the end of a list. For example, I had my lunch and what have you and just enjoyed the surroundings. So I had my lunch and I did this and then I did that and my lunch was great. So blah, blah, blah. So you are taking all of these things and condensing them into one expression. A synonym expression-wise is etc. what have you is essentially etc. But it's less formal. Number 3, there you go. Used when something is finished or to accept a situation. For example, it probably doesn't qualify as a rock pool. This is from my Rivington video, review, but there you go. So you're just accepting it, accepting the situation. And then any moment, very soon, used to build anticipation in a narrative. You'll see me approach it any moment now. Don't forget conditional sentences. So, for example, if only the sun had been out, it would have looked even better. And I think the second example is from a couple of videos ago. If we had followed the map, we wouldn't have got lost, but it might have been in the most recent video. So the structure, if plus past perfect, would have plus past participle. So you use it to describe and talk about hypothetical situations in the past, things that did not happen, and you're often doing it because you want to express regret or relief. Okay, try to use the third conditional. It is a mark of advanced grammar, one of the markers that examiners particularly use as a reference to understand your competence with advanced grammar. Equally, using the passive voice and the causative, causative versus active voices. These are advanced too. For example, from the video a couple of days ago, the railway line was decommissioned in the 1960s. So the passive voice allows the speaker to focus on the action or the historical fact rather than the person performing it. The passive voice is often used in academic or more formal settings too. Try and utilize this. Okay. Use causative forms even in active voices to imply the use of tools or external services to achieve a result. For example, I've turned that noise down. This is just a review, the narrative pacing, spatial vocabulary. If you remember, this was from my Rivington video. I do pan round slowly to the left and you can see where I've come from. I'm starting at the bottom, I'm working my way up towards the apex. So ascending, descending, periphery, apex if you remember. These are precise spatial vocabulary. What are they doing? They're demonstrating the ability to guide the listener's mental eye through a scene. Incredibly narrative and descriptive techniques. So, a little test for you, although the answer's there, don't look. Ambling, which one is it? What does it mean? Running, wandering, or working? Desolate, crowded, empty, or beautiful? Hazardous, safe, risky, or easy? And which one is spectacular? Does it mean boring, dramatic, or ordinary? You can see the answers there for yourself. The summary. You have your adjectives on the left, idioms and collocations in the middle, and reference to grammar points on the right. Idioms, for example, off the beaten track. Give my right arm for, by the way, give my right arm for that house. Doom and gloom, doom and gloom, right? This is a catenation. Doom and gloom becomes doom and gloom. Follow to the letter, remember, strongly or even most strongly collocated with reference to instructions. So follow my instructions to the letter. It means follow them precisely. And if you're on edge, what did it mean? Tense or nervous, irritable. All right, remember decommissioned is like collocated with railway and one or two other things. You should look into that yourselves. So, final thought then. Again, authentic video content is one of the most powerful tools for reaching C1 fluency because real language is messy, vivid, and alive. Hopefully you feel that the language in these videos is indeed messy, vivid, and alive because they're not scripted. Great. Good to see you. Catch you on the next one. Bye.